The world around me froze as I caught my wife red-handed. Their faces contorted with passion, and my heart burst with pain and rage. But instead of snapping into hysterics without a second thought, I made a decision that turned out to be a temptation for both of them. I gave my lover two choices. Either he leaves his wife and forgets about her, or he leaves her life forever, but he reveals all her secrets. This was the beginning of a dangerous game that touched not only our lives, but also the dramas of destiny hidden in the depths of our souls. Are you ready to enter a world of forbidden tales of infidelity and unpredictable twists of fate? Then fasten your seatbelts and dive into a story that shows what love and betrayal can do. Welcome to a world of drama where the stakes are high and elections can change everything. And here we go. Hello, everyone. Things like this make me feel like this story didn't happen to me. But alas, it's my second day of drinking. If I'm not thinking clearly, please don't judge me harshly. We had been married for 3 years, both in our early 30s. We had a good life, I thought. We always understood and loved each other. Now, it turns out I was the only one who loved. We weren't rich, but we didn't need much either. Now here's the story. This Tuesday and Wednesday, but I had the day off. I'm on a schedule. My wife quit her job a month ago. Now she's waiting for a position at another job, so we can afford to go to the country house in the middle of the week. We planned this trip a week ago. Tuesday to clean up before winter. I called an electrician to check the wiring, and to have some shish kebab wine to close the season, so to speak. Monday afternoon, I'm at work. My wife calls me and says she can't go, since supposedly her mom on Tuesday night to meet with a realtor and asked her, that is, my wife, to be present at the preparation and review of documents. And by the way, my wife is a lawyer. There is no way to move, and my mother cannot refuse. And says, go alone, on Wednesday morning I'll come myself. So what am I doing? There is nothing to do. I've already made arrangements with the electrician. I didn't think much of it. It happens. I'm off this afternoon. That's all for now. It was like 6 o'clock in the evening. My wife calls. She says she's meeting with a realtor in an hour. Then she's staying overnight at her mom's. I said, okay, I'll call her later. Well, if that's the case. I fry potatoes, pickles, vodka in the fridge. I was just about to have a shot. The bell rang. So who do you think is calling? My mother-in-law. So my mother-in-law calls and starts babbling that I promised to put the car in these services and asked to write it down. Plus, she doesn't want to cut us off. She knows we're at the cottage. Apologizes and asks me to tell my wife that she will be making an appointment with a realtor tomorrow afternoon. Right now, she's at her sister's and she's staying with her. To say that I was freaked out is nothing to say. But I kept silent and we said goodbye. I got ready, started the car, and drove off. Somehow I resisted calling my wife, realizing that if there was something, I would warn her myself. I decided to go home and get the keys to my mother-in-law's apartment. I, by the way, put the locks myself and I had a spare. And then go there and check it out. And if no one is there, then call my wife and listen to her mother. I drove all the way there. Parking in front of the house, all of a sudden I saw the light in our apartment light up and then go out in a minute. Even calmed down a bit, thinking that the same at home and doing some shit. But somehow I calmed myself down. Ran into the entrance hall. Both elevators were on the first floor. For some reason I did not go, but walked up to the 3rd floor. I opened the common door, went to my own door, and opened it. It was locked from the inside with a latch, so I started ringing the doorbell and the phone. Took the phone, began to say something in a shaky voice. Told me to open the door, and who is still alone. Well then, friends, everything is like in the movies. She and him, dressed to the full, on the rush, a cleaned bed, half a bottle of wine. I grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, dragged him up the stairs, and offered him 2 options. The first was to tell him everything and leave in good health. The second was to play Kosmodomianskaya and go to the hospital. He chose the first, sleeping for 2 months and so on. He let go and went to the apartment. She tried to say something, to explain. I calmly asked her to pack the laundry from the bed and go to my mom's. You can pick up your things later. And then I saw a condom wrapper under the bed. I got a little bit covered, and I grabbed it and shoved it in her mouth. Afterwards, I threw it out into the stairwell, along with my boots, jacket, and bag. And that was it. I felt so empty inside. I got off work, said he was sick. My mother-in-law came today, by the way, said she understood me completely. She apologized for her daughter. I've decided that divorce is not an option, and there are no options. It's just an abomination. That's all. To be honest, I don't even remember all the words in detail. Something about it not being like that. He only confessed because you made him, and so on. In a word, a lie. You ask me. After that, she didn't try to get in touch with me and talk to me. She tried, by all means of communication. Where I could, I ignored her. Blacklisted her. I can't turn my phone off because my job might call. I can't turn it off because they might call from work. It happens. I can't even send a message. It's disgusting to even think about. And what is there to decide? She made up her own mind. Divorce. I don't even consider other options. No kids. By the way, we were planning to, but now it's in the past. The state is such that it does not even hurt for some reason. Only anger and disgust. As if I stepped in shit. I'm not going to communicate. For what? To listen to snot. I don't need it. And I can't listen. I'd rather throw up. When I drink, I don't drink too much. It's just an antistress. Now I'm starting to remember something and put the device to my nose. It seems to be possible to find the facts, but maybe not. I certainly did not feel it. I'm not intelligent enough to feel anything without trying to find out, you know. And I think I would have found out if I wanted to. I trusted her. Such proper speeches she always made if the conversation was about cheating. For example, in the movies or about acquaintances who were broken up for the same reason. There was a sincere indignation such, why get married if you are not sure or not sure of yourself? And everything in that vein. And the fact that the makeup and other tinsel, I do not know. But I didn't really focus on that. Why not? Well, a woman wants to be beautiful. But I, believe me, didn't connect it in any way by being sure of mutual decency. I guess so. My mother-in-law called, by the way, but I didn't pick up. Thought she'd start telling me to forgive her. She texted me that she wanted to talk to me, and what was her fault? That was the question she asked me. Thought she was right and didn't deserve it. I mean, the relationship has always been good, so what is this for? Immediately she said that she understood me, and she would never do that to her husband. She cried, said it was up to you to decide, so I voiced the decision. She, in turn, asked for forgiveness. Said that I could count on her if I needed any help. Very sorry for the man. But what now? In general, what can you say about this story? I will be grateful for advice. Dear listeners, and I thank you for watching this video, for subscribing to the channel, giving your likes and dislikes, and very, very actively discuss each story in the comments. This helps the channel grow and attract a new audience. Thank you. And now on to the second story. In the back of my mind, I was seething with rage when I discovered my wife was cheating on me. Not only had she cheated on me, but she had also indulged in passion with another man. But I decided not to stop at simply stating the fact of adultery. I decided to take matters into my own hands and break everything that bound them together forever. I took out my wife's lover, but that was not enough. My thirst for revenge led me to his family. I knew that this dramatic story of infidelity could not remain unpredictable. Now that my wife's lover's family was also part of my revenge, Questions about morality and justice came before me. Are you ready to dive into this dangerous story full of intrigue and unexpected twists of fate? Then gather your strength and get ready for an amazing journey into the world of infidelity and its consequences. Welcome to a world of amazing adultery stories that will leave you brooding and take your imagination captive. Where to begin? My wife and I have lived together for 10 years. We have 2 sons, one 6, the other 8. By the way, the first 8 years my wife didn't work. She stayed home at first and later with the kids. She's, so beautiful and smart. All those 8 years, she just blew my mind with her jealousy. I'll tell you right off the bat, it was unwarranted. After all, I think you yourself are well aware. Imagine just sitting at home and all the time something came to mind that supposedly I was cheating. From the very first days of our marriage, she and I both knew there was a tick in our family. We could not forgive a cheating soulmate. No way. Not under any circumstances. And she knew that all along. Anyway, here we are 8 years later. We bought an apartment, a small loan, but we didn't have enough money. And somehow logically everything was moving towards the fact that she had to get a job. Got a job, was a nobody at work. By virtue of the island of intelligence and intelligence from nature, she began to move up the career ladder little by little. Everything was going well. We were happy that we were both becoming successful parents. Also that we had a strong marriage and really amazing kids. Not once in the entire marriage did I cheat, believe it or not. I haven't even kissed a single woman. So tell me, why when you have such a beautiful, beautiful wife at home? And so it's been a year and a half since she got a job. For the last 6 months, things have started to change. She started a big new project at work, a greenfield manufacturing facility. And then, like on schedule, she started being late home. Then long-distance trips with her supervisor. Later, she started asking a friend to go out for a night out at a restaurant. Or something. I thought, well, you should. All right, it's a stressful time at work, you gotta let loose. Then she went cold on me and the kids. She didn't do anything around the house because she was too tired. I don't know how, but one morning she was leaving with her boss in another town in his car. And somehow there was an unspoken agreement that she had to sit in the back seat in the car with another man. And the time is 4 in the morning, she kissed me asleep and left. And something literally lifted me up. I got up and looked out the window. My wife comes out of the door and almost hops, sits on the front seat. Then something stirred inside me. I didn't want to, but I put a wiretap on her phone 2 whole weeks later. And yes, it all came out. She was talking to her coworker friend about how she couldn't decide who to stay with. Like, both her husband and her lover, who happened to be her boss, they're both nice. It's nice, isn't it? And stuff like that. So I told her I knew everything. At first, she didn't take it seriously because I didn't have any proof. Then I provided the same evidence, but to the boss's wife. By the way, they have 3 children. We sat with her like that, looked at each other, and agreed that maybe they were in love or something. There were scandals. At first, she acted cocky and pushy. It turned out that they had been in a relationship for 6 months. All that time, she lied to me. She looked me in the eye and told me she loved me. She made love to me, with one and then with another. I told her she was a woman of easy virtue, softly, to put it mildly. She replied at first that no, that wasn't true, because she had feelings for this man. Her boss said she was, literally, cool, that she was just fascinated by this whole new thing. A day went by. She started apologizing. Said she understood everything. Realized that I loved her as much as she loved me so much that it was a big mistake that she would never make again. Asked for help. For me to reach out to her and not let her go. I'm listening to her, and my world is falling apart around me. I want to forgive her, but I can't. As soon as I look at her, I immediately imagine her with another man. I can't imagine how to live next to her. and I can't imagine without her either. I keep thinking that no, she is lying. I just caught her off guard. I discovered everything. And her lover, as it turns out, after I provided his wife with everything, decided to keep his family and told my beloved about it. So he turned out to be a dumbest fool and an empty liar. And my wife simply had nowhere else to go. And my lover fucked up. And me. And by the way, I told her I was getting a divorce. I don't want to. My whole nature resists, and I can't forgive cheating. And I cannot believe in the sincerity of her word about the error. And then, Maziam. Later she began to say that intimacy they had only 3 times in 6 months. Yeah, but I don't believe that at all. 3 times in 6 months. With such strong feelings. And what in God's name am I talking about? What difference does it even make? 3 or more. That's what I said, that 1 would have been enough for me. Now I feel like I need to make the decision to be a man and solve this problem. 2 sons, an abused but very strong love for my wife. But if we stay together, what kind of life would that be? The recriminations, the insults, the distrust. Maybe she's telling me all this on purpose so she can be more conspiratorial about cheating later. What do you think? Maybe someone has had a similar situation. I would be grateful. Dear listeners, thank you and I for watching this video, also for subscribing to the channel and give you likes. Frankly, it is very nice and greatly helps the channel to grow, develop, and gain a new audience. If you are not subscribed, please, you can thank me for my work for you by subscribing and liking. No farewell, and see you soon.